If you want to be a YouTuber but don't know where to start, then check out Xcademy. They have a YouTube course taught by some of the biggest YouTube stars with over 50 million followers, teaching you how to make viral videos and gain your first 1,000 subscribers. It's getting students great results. I have created content for the Fortnite course, which is headlined by Benji Fishy. This course will help you improve your Fortnite mechanics and strategy to take your game to the next level. With membership, you get access to everything and you get a completely free trial, so check out the link in the video description below. Hey everybody! If you've played any online multiplayer game, you should know that your internet connection affects your gameplay in a big way. In Fortnite, some players live very close to the game's servers. These zero-ping players will steal your walls on their first try, and you will never be able to steal theirs. When you get into a fight, you won't know right away if you're fighting an average ping player or a zero-ping player. And because of that, the only way to win your fights quickly and consistently is to always expect the worst. Unless you live right on top of your region's servers, you always have to expect that your opponent is enjoying a zero-ping connection. To win fights against these players, you have to play much differently. To set yourself up to win these fights, your building strategies will be different and you might even need to use different weapons to overcome the disadvantage. A common scenario that high-ping players struggle with happens in the mid-game. Let's say you're playing Arena, a Cash Cup, or a Hype Night and you put yourself in a tower during a mid-game. You're hanging out, waiting for zone to close so you can figure out the best way to rotate. And out of nowhere, a player dives on your box, shoots your wall as you turbo build it, and makes an edit immediately. If that player is on zero ping, they can yoink your wall, edit, and shoot you before you get the chance to edit yourself away. It's good to practice editing ramps and cones for protection in this situation, along with practicing tunneling to put yourself inside a new box. However, the zero ping player will always be able to replace and edit your builds faster than you can edit and build away. And I know that's discouraging, but you can still beat a player if you set yourself up better. The way you do that is by creating an escape route before you need to escape. So in the mid-game, when you're boxed up in a tower, don't just sit in a 1x1. Build another box next to it and leave an open wall edit. This way, when a zero-ping player yoinks your wall, you can retreat into your escape box without worrying about the player's instant pressure. You can slow down that pressure even more if you get in the habit of always placing cones or ramps inside your boxes. This gives you more protection and more opportunities to find safe right-hand peeks against a zero-ping warrior.
Alright, when a player approaches you, make sure to build 2 boxes, not just one, because he's going to try to dive inside my box, just like that. Ah, yes. El Clasico. And now, depending on where he wants to go, we can let him inside here. Got a nice spicy headshot, and now he's trapped inside of my box.
To practice this defensive setup, simply stand in between 2 tile spaces and spin your camera the same way you would build a 1x1. As you get faster, you can start using this strategy not only for defense, but also as a safe way to push towards a boxed up player who you suspect of having zero ping. Let's go back to the mid-game tower example. If a zero ping player is boxed up, you have to try a lot harder to win the fight. A safe way to set up a mid-game box fight is to build a box diagonal to their tower. As you look at your opponent's tower, build a ramp tunnel connecting to their wall, and then edit the ramp for a right-hand peek. With this setup, you will always have the option to reset and edit and move back behind cover. From behind the ramp, you can safely pressure their wall with your AR. Unfortunately, if that player does have zero ping, you might never be able to take it. Instead, switch to your pickaxe and use fake swings to trick your opponent into opening an edit. From here, you can pull out your shotgun and shoot the player from a right-hand peek. If they reset the edit, you can shoot the wall and replace it. Either way, make sure to practice faking a pickaxe swing, pulling out your shotgun, and shooting at the player. This will often allow you to deal damage or take their wall. In this situation, an aggressive player might decide to dive through their wall and shoot you. This is where your escape box gives you counterplay potential. As you see them edit through their wall, don't reset the ramp edit. Instead, move back into your first box and shoot their feet as they run towards you. They won't be able to shoot back, and you can use the ramp to control the fight. Your goal is always to have a backup building piece to reset or hide behind in the event of a zero-ping player stealing your wall. Another common situation where zero-ping players are frustrating happens when you deal a lot of damage and they decide to box up. If the player has zero ping, you might never take their wall, and your SMG spray will never deal any damage through their turbo build. This means you have to learn some new strategies to finish those fights where you already have a health advantage. And these strategies will always involve phasing.
Zero ping! Can't help you here.
If you've seen a ramp glowing yellow, it means that you can walk through it or shoot through it. Phasing happens when a building piece is placed inside a player's body or when a player wedges themselves against a structure they want to phase through. From on top of a box, you can phase inside a cone by wedging yourself against a wall. You can phase down through a floor by pushing yourself against the underside of a cone or a ramp. From underneath a box, you can do the same thing. Most of you should know that you can phase through a wall by breaking it as you jump against the underside of a ramp. You should practice each of these phase tricks in creative until you can perform them quickly. This will allow you to surprise a zero ping player who expects to survive a fight just by holding their walls. Every phase trick will work against a zero ping player even if you have 200 ping. That's why they're so worthwhile to learn. However, phasing inside a player's box is always risky. If you miss your shot as you dive inside, the player might simply win the aim duel. To avoid those scary situations, it will help you to learn how to phase inside a wall without diving through it. I think the easiest way to do this is by editing 3 tiles of a floor like this. By moving forward and strafing against this small railing, you can break the wall and phase inside it. Make sure to stop moving as you break the wall. From here, you can shoot the player inside the box and then step back out to keep yourself safe. If your opponent doesn't have a ramp or cone inside their box, you can block them with your own ramp after shooting. This will allow you to safely move inside their box and edit the ramp for a safe right-hand peek. As always, make sure to practice this with friends in creative before trying it out in real matches. If you can't make it happen on your first try, your opponent will quickly realize what you're doing, so practice. I hope that by now you've learned how you need to change your playstyle to successfully fight zero ping players. The next step is to think about how the weapons in your inventory are affected by your internet connection. But against zero ping players, you need to damage their walls more efficiently if you are trying to set up phase tricks or take walls with your pickaxe. Sometimes it only takes 1 or 2 bullets to damage a wall to the point where it breaks or will break with a single pickaxe swing. And since it will take more tries against a zero ping player, you can't waste bullets by using a burst assault rifle. The same goes for SMGs. They don't do enough wall damage in a single clip, so you're better off using utility items like C4, proximity mines, RPGs, or grenades to pressure and replace building pieces. If you can't find utility items, you're better off carrying a second AR to maximize the number of walls that you can destroy before having to reload. And remember, in many cases you'll never be able to take the wall, which is why you learned earlier about phasing, and this brings us to shotguns. I'm sure many of you enjoy using pump shotguns. It's really satisfying to hit a perfect headshot and take a player out of the game instantly. But sadly, pump shotguns are much better for zero ping players. If you can take a wall first try, you can make a safe right-hand peek edit and line up an easy shot. But if you're fighting against a zero ping player, you will never find that same easy shot. Because you need to rely on phase tricks, all of your shots become more difficult and less forgiving. If you miss a pump shot while diving into your opponent's box, you will usually lose the fight, and that's part of why you should start using tactical shotguns. You can shoot 3 times before your opponent can fire their pump shotgun for the second time. This gives you a much better chance of winning those fights where you have to force a 50-50 against a zero ping player. The other reason for you to use a tac shotgun is the wall damage potential. Surprisingly, even though the tac does less damage to players, it does more damage to walls. If you start using your tac to pressure walls, you will be able to punish zero ping players if they make bad edits, and you'll be able to set up very effective phase tricks. The last tip I'll leave you with is my new favorite way of dealing phase damage. Shoot a wood wall once with your purple tac, then build a floor and make a 3-tile edit like you learned earlier. From here, shoot the wall one more time to destroy it, and then keep shooting. With this trick, you can shoot your opponent much quicker and much more safely than the traditional ramp phase exploit. This is because you keep your shotgun out the whole time rather than switching from your pickaxe. This trick is not possible with a pump shotgun, and it is a beautiful way to bamboozle a turtling zero ping player.
Are you hurt? You gotta edit on me, dude. You're gonna die.
I hope you all learned something from this video. If you practice these tricks in creative, I promise you will feel really great when you can outplay zero ping warriors in real matches. If you have questions about this video or about other things that you've had trouble learning, it might help for me to show you the answer. And that's why for all of May, I will be hosting public Q&A sessions at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Billy_Bicep. And I will put that channel in the video description. Thank you all for following my Twitch channel, for subscribing to this channel. Huge thanks to everybody who's using code Billy-Bicep in the item shop, and I hope to see you all later during my live streams.